What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have a Datura trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Scary, but I liked it, and was submitted to Earwid in 2012 by the user DaturaFan2012. With all that being said, let our story begin. I have two Datura Mattel double purple plants, which I raised from seed. The first one is older than a year. The second one is about 8 months old. They both flowered throughout our spring and summer, but I was quite disappointed to see the flowers blooming and then drop off entirely after a few days. Nothing was pollinating them, so I opted for manual/hand pollination, and they all worked perfectly. I'm going on a bit, but I think I might have stumbled across something of importance: timing and dosage. From the younger tree, I took 3 seed pods, one to my seed bank, and the last 2 for consumption. I gave 1 pod to a friend because he wanted to grow them, and this is where it gets quite interesting. A few hours later, there are people at my gate, asking questions, etc. I suggested taking him to hospital for observation, in case the drug was still picking up speed. Turns out that my friend gave the pod to a minor, 14 to 15 years old, and he had eaten them and was now tripping badly. From everything I heard, this was a textbook trip. Vanishing cigarettes, cell phone, talking Chinese, walking into things, mumbling, etc. The next day, my friend and the tripper graced me with their presence, and it gave me the opportunity to ask a lot of questions. It sounded like a scary but fun trip. The pod in question was the smallest and must have had about 12 to 18 seeds. I could hardly believe that so few seeds could have such an effect. He said he ate more than 12, but less than 20. Chewed them fine and swallowed. About 20 minutes later, he said that the floors were rippling, and soon after that, the trip got into full swing. I won't elaborate any more. Suffice to say that I was impressed. I simply had to try it myself. I used my last pod for the trip. The pod itself was still green in places, but this is exactly what I wanted: hydrated seeds. I broke open the pod and ended up with about 40 seeds, fresh and plump, even with the bits of white flesh that sometimes break off with the seed. I'm not sure if the white flesh played a part in this, but rather that the seeds were fresh and not dry. On a full stomach, I munched away on 10 seeds at 8:30 p.m., swallowed, and then waited 20 minutes, playing a bit on my PC. At 9 p.m., nothing. At 10 p.m., I started feeling off balance, especially if I turn around fast and walk. I almost fell over a lot. I do smoke a lot of Sweet Mary Jane, but I don't ever recall feeling anything like this before. Definitely not the weed. Because it had taken so long for it to kick in, I nailed another 10. Bad mistake. I should have rather taken another 3 or 4 seeds. At 11 p.m., I was definitely wobbling, like I was drunk on alcohol. I poured myself a glass of fresh, cold water. The taste was horrible and made my throat burn. I made some coffee, but this also had a sour taste. I reckon I'll have some beers on hand for the next trip. I don't know. Alcohol and Datura coursing through my veins at the same time doesn't sound like a good idea. At midnight, my trip was in full swing. I was seeing things, hearing things, walking into absolutely everything, bashing my toes at almost every corner. Ouch. Picking up objects that only existed in my mind. It also seemed that my arms were shorter, requiring 2 or 3 attempts to reach an object. Real world. Man, this stuff works. And from that point on, I time traveled. Until 3:30 a.m., I do not remember a thing. At 3:30 a.m., I must have made a lot of trouble in the house. My son and wife were following me around looking very angry. I had 3 experiments on the go concurrently. One in the bathroom, dissolving a bar of soap, the pill. Another in my workshop. Dunno what the hell it was. Teleporter, I think. And one in the kitchen. Making coffee with whatever I could find. I made a special egg milk, which seemed to piss my wife off badly. I don't blame her. I made a mess. I told them that I was fine, but they didn't budge. I was incapable of holding a conversation because every word was such an effort, and my mouth wasn't working properly either. Nor was my brain. I was tripping, hallucinating, talking to people who weren't there. The disappearing cigarette is a fact, an absolute fact. How many times I scoured the floor for the cigarette that had vanished from my fingers. I lost count. I also found it became very difficult to pee. My wife and son had a hard time convincing me that it was 3:30 a.m. and not 3:30 p.m. Eventually, they opened a curtain and make me look outside. It was pitch black. I needed to go outside. I saw twinkling flashes of blue light coming from random points all around me. It was quite amazing, and I knew they weren't real. This was the best trip I ever had, but it could easily have turned ugly. Caution, caution. This stuff is dangerous. Definitely have a sitter if you're going to trip heavy. 20 to 30, maybe 40 seeds. My son, who is 18 years old, told me everything just now. He was so worried about me. Told me that he thought I would never return as a normal person. I got up to all sorts of shit apparently. Embarrassing, but wow, what a trip. My son actually filmed me during my time travel, and it's weird to watch myself. I was wasted, no denying it. I won't be doing it anytime soon again, mainly because I don't have any left. But this one is certainly going on my list as a do again, but with much caution and respect. I apparently took another 10 at 2 a.m. and asked my son to take the rest away. I was still tripping mildly at 10 a.m. this morning. In our country, these seeds are commonly referred to as malpit, or in English, mad seeds. A perfect name for them, I think. Last words? Thoroughly impressed. And advice? Grow your own. And make sure you pollinate by hand if needed. Alright, everybody. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.